I absolutely love looking back at old trades. It's one of my favorite things to do and make videos on. In this particular video, we're going to be going over 3 of the most underrated trades from the past 3 years. This video was inspired by watching a certain player throughout his first couple games of the season, realizing just how important of a player he is to his current team, and then remembering what his current team gave up to bring him in, which wasn't a lot. It was practically nothing. I'm talking kind of cryptic here because I don't really want to spoil one of the 3 trades we're going to talk about in this video, but you probably already know who I'm talking about from the thumbnail anyways. If there are any other underrated trades from the past 3 years that you can think of that I don't cover in this video, be sure to let me know down in the comments, and while you're down there, you might as well leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Starting off with the trade I was referring to in the intro, the Vegas Golden Knights acquiring centerman Chandler Stephenson from the Washington Capitals in exchange for a 2021 5th round pick. A draft pick that the Washington Capitals would later flip for Michael Raffl, who only ended up playing 14 games with the Capitals and is now in Philadelphia, so Washington has nothing to show for this trade now. It's pretty crazy to look back at this trade now, obviously with Chandler Stephenson being the #1 center on the Golden Knights and being a key contributor to one of the best lines in hockey, obviously when all 3 of them are healthy, talking about Stephenson, Pacioretty, and Stone. Now the Golden Knights obviously seen something in Chandler Stephenson to want to go out and acquire him, but there's no way they've seen this coming. At the time of the trade, Stephenson was just a depth player for the Washington Capitals, playing bottom 6 minutes, killing penalties, that sort of thing. If this trade had never happened, Stephenson definitely would not be the player he is now because he just was never going to get the opportunity in Washington that he got after the trade to Vegas. Here's a side-by-side look of Chandler Stephenson's stats from the 2019-20 season. On the left side is his numbers before the trade to Vegas, and then on the right are his numbers with the Golden Knights to finish out the 19-20 season. The difference is pretty wild. After the trade, we saw a huge jump in basically every aspect of his game except his shooting percentage, which went down, but he scored more goals in Vegas. That's because he was shooting more, he was getting more opportunity. After performing that well to finish out the 2019-20 season, the Golden Knights rewarded Chandler Stephenson in the 2020 offseason with a 4-year, $11 million contract extension, so an annual average of just $2.75 million, a deal that now looks like a complete bargain. Chandler Stephenson has continued to get better and better. He's off to a strong start this season with 4 points in 5 games, and that's without his line mates Max Pacioretty and Mark Stone in the lineup at the moment. Would Chandler Stephenson be getting first line minutes on pretty much any other team in the league? Probably not, but you have to remember before making this trade, the Golden Knights were pretty weak at the center position and didn't really have a lot of cap space. They had to find a hidden gem, if you will, and that's exactly what happened with them acquiring Chandler Stephenson. Who would have thought that them giving up a 5th round pick for this player back in the 2019-20 season would turn out to be this good? No one could have seen that coming. This next trade is a very interesting one, and it's one that I feel like a lot of people don't even know about. The Pittsburgh Penguins acquiring John Marino from the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for a conditional 2021 6th round pick. So Marino was originally a 6th round pick back in 2015 by the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm sure as all of you guys know, if you don't sign the prospect that you drafted after a certain amount of years, he becomes a free agent, you lose the rights to that player, and that was what was about to happen to the Pittsburgh Penguins. They were about to lose the rights to John Marino, so instead of just losing the rights for nothing, they decided to trade his rights and try to get something in return, and what they got was a conditional 6th. The conditions on that 6th round draft pick were if the Pittsburgh Penguins signed John Marino, then the Oilers would get the pick, but if he hadn't signed, then they wouldn't have gotten anything. Now obviously, as we know, the Pittsburgh Penguins did indeed sign John Marino, and Marino actually made the Pittsburgh Penguins roster right away. He played 56 games with the team in the 2019-20 season, and he was legitimately one of the best rookie defensemen in the entire league. And he probably would have gotten a lot more recognition had it not been for other rookie defensemen in that year, like Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, and I believe Adam Fox was a rookie that year as well. At just 24 years old, John Marino, I would say at this point, is the Pittsburgh Penguins' 2nd best defenseman behind Chris Letang. You could make the case it's Brian Dumoulin, but I mean, I feel like you could flip-flop either of those guys. The point is, John Marino is a very good top 4 defenseman, and he still has room to get better. He's fantastic defensively, he's a real good skater, good on the penalty kill, and he's no slouch offensively either. He's off to a pretty good start this season with 4 points in 5 games. This trade wound up being an absolute steal for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you could make the argument that the 6-year, $26.4 million deal that the Penguins signed him to prior to this season is a steal as as well. Moving on now to the third and final trade of the video, the Carolina Hurricanes acquiring centerman Vincent Trocheck from the Florida Panthers in exchange for Erik Haula, Lucas Wallmark, Eetu Luostarinen, and Chase Priskie. Erik Haula no longer with the Florida Panthers, same goes for Lucas Wallmark. Chase Priskie is a 25-year-old defenseman who's still yet to play an NHL game. Looks like he's just going to be a career AHLer. Really the only piece from this trade that the Florida Panthers still have that you could say is somewhat valuable is Eetu Luostarinen. He's a 23-year-old forward, has played a total of 55 NHL games. I don't really know if there's a whole lot of upside there, but I definitely feel like he's at least capable of being a regular NHLer. So really the Carolina Hurricanes did not give up a whole lot at all to get Vincent Trocheck, who is a very good top 6 centerman. And it's not like Vincent Trocheck only broke out after the trade to Carolina. Vincent Trocheck was very good for many years in Florida before this trade. This is a player who had a 31-goal, 75-point season with the Panthers in 2017-18. I feel like in making this trade, it was the Florida Panthers just wanting to make a change for the sake of making a change. That's kind of the way I took it. Maybe they didn't view themselves bringing him back after his current contract is over, which is actually up at the end of this season. Who knows? But the Carolina Hurricanes have to be pretty happy with how this trade has worked out for them. Vincent Trocheck has came over and really been fantastic for the Hurricanes. He's sort of a jack of all trades. He can do a little bit of everything. You can play him anywhere in the lineup. He's reliable in the face-off circle. You can play him on either special teams, penalty kill, or power play. I believe Carolina actually does that. Real good skater, very fast. He's a good play driver offensively, and on top of that, he's not going to win any Selke trophies, but he is responsible defensively. Looking ahead to the 2022 free agency class, Vincent Trocheck is one of the players that intrigues me the most. His current cap hit is $4.75 million, which is a bargain for Trocheck. He's definitely going to get a raise, and I'm really interested to see how big of a raise and if it's from the Carolina Hurricanes or if it's from another team. I feel like maybe Vincent Trocheck could be in a new sweater next season because Carolina now has Jesperi Kotkaniemi. We'll see what happens, but even if Vincent Trocheck does end up leaving as a free agent, I still feel like you can say this was a complete steal of a trade for the Carolina Hurricanes, getting 2.5 very strong seasons from Vincent Trocheck in exchange for really nothing of consequence. I can't see a scenario where Eetu Luostarinen becomes so good that he makes Carolina regret making this trade. So that is going to wrap up today's video, going over, in what my opinion, are 3 of the most underrated trades from the past 3 years. And like I said at the start of the video, if you can think of any other underrated trades or trades that are underrated in your opinion that took place over the past 3 years that I didn't talk about in this video, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. And just as a heads up, I actually made a community tab post about this, but I'm not sure how many of you guys actually seen it. I'm going to start using my Instagram a lot more, so if you're somebody who's always on Instagram or frequently uses the app and you want a little bit more hockey content on your feed, go drop my Instagram account a follow. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. Again, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Leave a like if you did, and I'll talk to you all soon.